and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. I'm your host, Grayson Bauman, and joining us in this segment, we have Amy Hagan, co-coordinator with the Taylorville Food Pantry. Amy, good morning to you. How are we?
Good morning, Grayson. Couldn't be better. Thanks for having us yet again.
Well, glad to have you here today. We're going to talk first and foremost, I'm sure, about the month of November and some of the numbers, recap of the month. Amy, what do you got for us in that regard?
Well, in the month of November, for those in the listening audience that have been tracking us for a while, they know that November is historically our biggest month of the year and will not disappoint for 2025. We serve 609 households. That was 1,764 individuals. And, you know, my favorite metric to track and to talk about is the number of new households in the month. And that number was 83 new households. And then we had 308 volunteer incidences in the month of November. So it was a really, really big month, as you would expect, being with the holiday and all.
And I did expect a big month from you guys. And when we were talking to Pam last month, she said you guys might eclipse that 600 household number. So we did that and we exceeded that. Man, I know you were prepared to an extent, but were you prepared enough almost?
You know, we actually really were.
Good.
So the goal was to have 247 turkeys for the holiday season. And we ended up giving out, as we closed our doors last Tuesday, 246.
So
we had one turkey left.
Wow.
You can't plan it any better than that.
No.
But we had some very large donations come in, like GSI out of Assumption came in. They had 30 turkeys they donated. And then our friends at Credit Collection Partners, Paycourt, they donated 10 turkeys. And so we had some big donations like that. But the reality is, and Pam and I were just conferring about this earlier this morning, in fact, is that it takes, our volunteers who are willing to go out singularly or in groups to grocery stores within the greater central Illinois area and are willing to buy turkeys at household prices for 40 some or 60 some cents a pound, and then buy to the limit, whether it's one turkey or two turkeys, bring those to the pantry, and it's just repeat visits to the grocers here in Springfield and Taylorville. I mean, it takes a great deal of effort. Mm-hmm. That whole adage about it takes a village to run a food pantry, it definitely does at Thanksgiving time.
Well, I am really, so 247 is what you were hoping to give away. 246 it really is kind of written in the stars almost type of deal there. But absolutely. GSI, and you mentioned like Paycorp, a few others came in, and then obviously just those individual donations that poured in as well. We got to be feeling pretty good about the amount of turkeys that we gave away.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. Well, a couple of weeks prior to Thanksgiving, people are, calling us, actually probably more like at Halloween time. They're contacting us and saying, hey, is there going to be turkeys this year? Are you giving away a food box, that type thing for the holidays? And so we kind of have to temper people's excitement for the turkeys because we really don't know, one, what the cost is going to be. And then secondly of all, whether or not the demand can be met. And so the last thing you want to do is, stake your reputation on the fact that, hey, you come, you're definitely going to get a turkey. We want people to realize that it's limited quantities. We can't make a guarantee. You get there early, you got a better chance than somebody who's showing up late. But nonetheless, we were indeed blessed beyond measure and able to meet the need in the community this year.
Very happy to hear that. Pam Moses is now joining us, fellow co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry. And Pam, when we were talking last month, you were like that 600 household number. You were thinking that might be a case. 1,764 individuals. We surpassed what you might have even seen. Amy's telling us we feel pretty good about where we fell on the month. What about on your end of things, Pam, after our conversation last month?
Well, it was as expected. I mean, we started out with really big days with the SNAP benefits being gone for the first 3 weeks of the month. And we started off with a lot of 50 plus families a day. So, as we said when we started, maybe we could even see 650 or more. But yeah, we're just over 600. So I guess it was expected. We always get our 100 bump usually in November. I think last year was the outlier, but on November. But yeah, I mean we're there.
Yeah. Well, we talked those SNAP benefits. Has that kind of been resolved for the most part? Are folks really starting to get their supplemental nutrition
Supposedly
assistance?
they got it on November the 21st.
Okay. Okay. Supposedly, though. Yeah, it's one of those deals where it's like, yeah.
As far as I know, I mean, I didn't hear otherwise. I mean, they were told it would be there, and I think the state of Illinois maybe had given some a little bit before then. I'm not positive about that.
But good to know that in the case of this, with November 21st being roughly that day, that we met the number and we were able to provide there. Anything else when it comes to the month of November that you guys would like to share with me today?
Well, I was just going to add, looking back, and I've been tracking this household thing for, a number of years at this point, about over 3 years. And as I look back over time, we have never served that many households except once. And that was in August of 2023. We served 621 households. So, I mean, we, and back then it was 1,587 individuals, and this time it was 1,764. So we actually served more people, but slightly fewer households. So you could easily argue that this was our largest month on record since we've been tracking.
Which, wow.
Yeah. And to what I was trying to say earlier about the number of households, the new households, Grayson, I mean, that number at 83, we processed 83 new households last month in the month of November. And that is the biggest number of new households we've ever had in the food pantry. And that statistic, to me, the fact that many people have come through our doors for the first time since we started on the new system, that's just a startling, staggering number. 83 families found their way to us last month. That's crazy.
69 the month before, which had tied the most.
Yeah.
And so back-to-back months, we tie the record, and then we go ahead and smash it by 14 plus additional households. And you mentioned there with the 1,764 individuals, it's just kind of a matter of how you look at it. But truthfully, it is almost that biggest month, or could really quite possibly be. The new household number, I was wondering how that compared previously, and so I do appreciate you throwing that number out there in terms of comparison.
No, that's absolutely true. But what an incredible thing that we were able to be there for families during the holiday season. There's no better time to be thinking about the Taylorville Food Pantry. I personally find a great deal of reward. I call it Thanksgiving, the Super Bowl, at the Taylorville Food Pantry, because it's by far our biggest holiday. And we have, new volunteers that find their way to us. I want to give special shout out, in fact, to St. Mary's School. And I don't know, should we give props to St. Mary's Parish as well, or I'm assuming they kind of go hand in hand, but nonetheless, we had just a slew of young people and their parents there the Thursday before Thanksgiving. Many of them had never been to the pantry before, and they were, working beside their parents and giving out meats and shopping with families, and just, understanding their community better in that one volunteer situation. So
starting them out young.
Heartwarming. Yeah.
Starting them out young. I think that's important. And I'm glad that you were also able to throw them in there. Anything else November wise? Because I mean, man, such a busy month. I definitely don't want to start talking December if there's anything else that we should let folks know about.
Well, I'm sure the volunteer number was a lot bigger. Almost 100 more than it was. And, and that number, what was it, 609 on the families, and 1764. Saturday was November 30th, which was our last day open, and we got 10 inches of snow. We only had 6 people that day. And had we had a normal weather day, my guess is that number would have been blown out as well.
Yeah, I didn't even
Very
actually
true.
think about that with the snow that fell just as quickly as Thanksgiving came and went. Do we expect that demand to continue now into Christmas a little bit? What do we see for the month of December potentially?
Well, I mean, I think we were almost at 500 for October, over 600. It does not surprise me that we continue the numbers. It's cold. Your utility bills are now higher than they were, for heat and different places. You got to keep your water on. You got to keep your heat on. The money's going to go probably somewhere other than groceries. So I don't see the number going down for the next 2 or 3 months.
No, that it's a little concerning too with the rising food costs on top of that and just everything continuing to climb. When you look at that now, Christmas wise, are we looking to gather some hams and some of those traditional deals too?
Well, we never mentioned Christmas to be a big giveaway like Thanksgiving. We hope that there's some kind of meat to give out, and what kind it is.
Pork loin, maybe.
Yeah.
We were looking at the pork loin at Kroger. They seem to have some decent deals on that. So, maybe a pork loin. Ham's actually pretty expensive at the store. It's all expensive at the store in the meat department, but I don't think it's too early, and you can kick me under the table if you want, Pam, but I think the buy one, give one thing works. The BOGO works for us because we did have a fair amount of response to that. People are at the store and they're like, hey, I'm shopping for my own family, some other family out there in the community who I'll never meet. Why don't I think of them? And so we did get a fair number of donations that way, or money given to us specifically for the purchase of meat.
Yes.
Well,
yeah.
Sorry.
No, I would say absolutely. Buy one, give one. Keep it coming.
and that's the case for Christmas too. Like, hey, just a cut of meat, we'll be probably pretty happy to be able to throw something on that table. But just was wondering as we make our way into our break here, and we'll take our break with Amy Hagan, co-coordinator, and Pam Moses, co-coordinator of the Taylorville Food Pantry. We talked the month of November in a big holiday season that was for them. 247 turkeys that they had, gave away 246, and a whole lot more in there as well. We'll be right back with these two on WTIM, your information station.
Your information station. WTIM.
Taylorville Community Eye Care.
The purple and gold are coming your way. The Taylorville Tornadoes are going to do it today.
Taylorville Care Center's personalized therapy program helps you get back to enjoying the season, whether it's holiday gatherings, winter walks with the grandkids, or cheering on your favorite team indoors. We'll help you stay active and independent. You'll receive great medical care and the therapy you need to get moving again. If you've been in the hospital or just need a little boost, call Taylorville Care Center at 824-9636, 824-9636. Taylorville Care Center, caring for our community for over 50 years.
I'm Jeff Grimmett, Assistant Vice President at People's Bank and Trust in Taylorville. People's Bank and Trust is proud to sponsor Taylorville Junior High School Students of the Month on all of the WTIM platforms.
I'm Ari Rice. I'm in the 5th grade, Student of the Month, and my parents are Xavier Rice and Courtney Cummins. The school subjects I enjoy are writing because I like to write stories. I do volleyball and cheer. I am in Tornadoes Together in Taylorville Stuco. After high school, I would like to be a teacher because I want to teach students like my mom. A fun fact I would like you to know about me is I have played volleyball for 6 years.
Congratulations to these students on this honor from People's Bank and Trust. We put people first every day at People's Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Greg Frost, owner of G. Frost Insurance Advisors, Taylorville, can optimize your Medicare plan and save you money during Medicare annual enrollment. Find out more by clicking their icon on TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
At First National Bank in Taylorville, switching banks isn't a hassle. It's a fresh start, made easy by real people who care. With nearly 70 years of trusted service, they're the first community bank that's not going anywhere. Find out why they've been first every time for over 70 years by clicking their icon at TaylorvilleDailyNews.com.
WTIM.
Good morning. You're listening to WTIM, your information station, and our morning show. It's brought to you by People's Bank and Trust, where they put people first, and Landmark of Taylorville. We're back around with co-coordinators of the Taylorville Food Pantry, Amy Hagan and Pam Moses. And we were touching on Thanksgiving and just November as a whole and how busy it was for them. Maybe a record month in the last 3 years since new tracking has been done. 83 new households certainly tops that list there as well. Now, with that being the case, we could use some volunteer help as always. And you guys had a great month for November in that regard. But what do we need kind of moving forward when it comes to our volunteers?
We still need people with a truck, Grayson. 4x4, 2x4, we don't care, just a truck. We're needing volunteers, especially on a Friday Walmart Dollar General pickup, and
That happens at noon.
and a Saturday morning at 9 for Aldi and Kroger. So we got a couple openings there, needing somebody to go do those pickups and bring it to the food pantry where it'll be weighed, and that's the extent of what you've got to do. But if we can have somebody that's out and about and isn't afraid of the snow, and for the next 3 or 4 months for sure.
And what has happened with folks being a little more afraid of the snow? I don't know. Folks really have forgotten how to drive in it, it feels like. But that's all part of the food rescue program that we're talking about here. How has that been in terms of this year, and what can we maybe expect even next year when it comes to the food rescue program?
So as you recall, Grayson, we've been tracking food rescue, and this is product that's not sold at the stores. It's either aged out or maybe a bag of oranges where one orange is bad and the rest of them are good, but they're not selling them on the shelf. We've been tracking this number since December 15th of 2015. And basically, this is through October. We're just shy of 950,000 pounds of food. So you asked over the break whether or not we were going to meet the 1 million pound mark of food rescued from the landfill, by the end of the year. And the answer is no, we will not. But we're going to get there by the first quarter of 2026. But it's such an important program when you think about how much food waste there is in this country. And the fact that programs like this are truly, on the front lines, taking that food off the retailer's hands. The retailer is getting the benefit of the tax deduction, of course. And then that food is not going into the waste management system. It's not going to the landfill. It's being used. The good stuff is being used. The genuine waste product is actually going to feed livestock in the county. So it's a zero waste program, and we're very, very proud of the fact that it's been running for 10 years. So.
Right.
Well,
2015.
by my math there, let's say December of 2015 to now December of 2025, it's about 100,000-ish pounds a year that we've gotten over the 10 years. But I was interested to see if we might hit that 1 million pound mark. So
I know I'm letting you down.
It's okay. I'll be excited to hear when that comes about next year. That will be coming next year, probably first quarter, if I had to guess. Well, to the both of you, thank you for joining us here today.
Absolutely.
It's our pleasure. Thank you.
You are welcome. Co-coordinators of the Taylorville Food Pantry have got Amy Hagan and Pam Moses joining us here on WTIM, your information station.